Hey everybody, welcome back to Kat's Kitchen. I'm so glad you guys are back here with me for another episode and some more recipes. Today we're going to be getting into a few more canning recipes, and we're going to be working out of this book here. I know it's backwards, so I'll read it for you. It's the all new Ball Book of Canning and Preserving. We're going to be on, it doesn't have a page number, but it's basically 274 and 275. It is the 1 jar meals, and we're going to be working on some of the beef products. Now, just a little disclaimer, I'm not using all of the cut that it says. It calls, some of this recipe called for brisket and chuck roast. I have a mixture of cuts of roasts in my freezer, so I will be using for these recipes, I have round roast, chuck roast, and sirloin roast all cubed up right now. And then I also prepared our vegetables too. So I have carrots, celery, onions, and mushrooms prepared. And you can also put, for our first recipe that we're going to make is the pot roast in a jar. You can put potatoes in that as well, but I am not going to. I'm going to leave that out, and the reason why is because I just wanted to be a little bit more versatile. So I'm going to just add in a little bit more carrots and celery and onions into those ones. I'll just do a little bit more of a ratio, because when you open that jar up, you can actually serve it either over rice or have sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, or you can even mix up a slurry after you've poured out the contents of the jar, so your broth that you're filling up, make a slurry, thicken it up, almost make a gravy, and then you can put all the contents into a pot pie or a cottage pie with mashed potatoes over top and bake it. So, excuse me. So just with that alone, those are the reasons why I'm not going to be adding in the potatoes to our recipe there for our pot roast in a jar. The second one we're going to make is beef stroganoff. That one's pretty simple. That one's just beef, onions, and your mushrooms. The pot roast in a jar is the beef. It's calling for peeled and diced potatoes, onions, celery, and carrots. And then we're also going to make and I'm not going to follow this recipe exactly, but it's the shredded chipotle beef for tacos. That one's calling for your beef and onions and then the seasonings. So for that one, I'm actually going to make that one a little more generic. I'm going to, instead of seasoning it with the, the chipotle chilies, peppers, and adobo, I actually don't really have access to that right now. I'd have to special order it. So what I'm going to do is, instead of making it like a chipotle beef, I'm just going to make it like a shredded beef that I can use for either tacos, enchiladas, quesadillas, or if we want to do like a pulled beef sandwich, that's going to be good to go too. So same with the seasonings. We're going to be pressure canning all of this. Obviously, these are vegetables and protein, so we need to pressure can. So with the seasonings, I'm just going to change them up just a little bit, but we're going to get going here. I'm going to be canning all in quarts today, and let me show you what we've prepared last night. Alrighty, friends, so last night I have trimmed and deboned all of our roast, all of our different cuts of roast, and then I have chopped up and washed all of our veggies that we're going to use. Okay, and for this recipe, we're going to start with the pot roast in a jar. Calls for 2 pounds of your beef, cut into about 2-inch pieces. 1 cup of your potatoes, if you're going to use that. 1 cup of diced onion. Half a cup of your celery and 1 cup of your sliced carrots. And then for your seasoning on this one, it's calling for 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 2 bay leaves, 2 garlic cloves sliced, 2 teaspoons of dried thyme, and 1 cup of dry red wine. Okay, everybody, so I end up getting so far I got 5 of our beef pot roast jars. If I have extra meat left over, I will, pack some more because I do have extra carrots and celery. And then if I don't get to these veggies, I'll just end up freezing them anyway for soup later on, or something else like that. So our next one is going to be beef stroganoff. We're going to need 2 pounds of our beef cut into 2-inch pieces, 1 cup of mushrooms, 1 cup of chopped onion, and 4 tablespoons of tomato paste. Our seasoning for the stroganoff is 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 2 teaspoons of thyme, 2 teaspoons of parsley, and 2 garlic cloves sliced. So let's get this one going. Alrighty friends, so after looking to see how much meat I have left, I only have maybe enough for 2 more jars, so I'm not going to do the pulled beef this time. I'm just going to probably do one more, couple jars, 1 more each of the pot roast and of our stroganoff. Is it the stroganoff? Yeah, the beef stroganoff. So I'll probably do 1 more each of those. My canner is full right now. I have 7 quarts in there, and I have it on high. They both have to process for the same time. Quarts process for 1 hour and 30 minutes, and pints are going to be for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And you can also double stack your pints when you're pressure canning. So if you're going to do that, that's perfect. those pints are good for like 1 serving or maybe like 1.5, maybe 2 servings if you have, you know, maybe something else with it. But the quarts are a pretty good portion for 2 people. And then maybe with a side salad or a side of bread or whatever. Like I said, if you're gonna serve it with mashed potatoes, maybe noodles, rice, etc., then maybe you can have it stretch for, you know, upwards of 2 to 4 people, preferably. So, all right, guys. So this is all just reference your altitude so that you know what your pressure needs to build up to. Mine here, where I'm at, and it based off of the altitude of sea level where you're at. So mine's going to be 11 pounds. So I will run mine at 11 pounds for an hour and 30 minutes. And then I'll see you guys back here whenever it's all done. Alrighty guys, so here is our beef pot roast. Just came out of the canner. And I have 1 jar of our stroganoff, our beef stroganoff, and then the other jars are in the canner right now, along with, I had 2 quarts and 1 pint of broth. So I was able to can all of that in 1 load, and it's all gonna process for the 90 minutes. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye, friends.